Well, what you're saying is that some Native American tribes have people that would be considered trans today, something that we can't fact check because they're dead,
it's
right?
Historical knowledge.
It's historical knowledge that there were trans Native Americans.
Yes.
En este video, la gran Candance Owens rompe a una tía que, en términos sencillos, quiere usar supuestos datos históricos para poder demostrar que el transgenerismo es algo natural en el ser humano. Sin embargo, como comenté, Owens le refuta la idea con lógica y sentido común. Mira el video hasta el final y verás cómo Owens de manera magistral la resquebraja con unas últimas palabras. Además comenta, ¿qué tal te pareció el final?
Hi, I'm wondering, there are dozens of words for two-spirited people, people that would now be considered LGBTQ or trans people in the native languages. So I'd like to know how, as these people have existed for thousands of years before you were alive or anyone else in this room was alive, and before anyone even colonized America, if trans people were around then, I'm just wondering why you think it is that trans people are only here now because the media is telling people these things.
Well, do you think it's weird that I graduated with 0 trans people? Do you think what do you think has contributed to the explosion of transgender people from the time that I was in high school? I'll ask you a question back. If this was just a natural thing, and I don't know what you're talking about with two-spirit people, is this like a Native American tribe, like high, smoking, and talking about your spirit? I'm asking you seriously, because when I think of Native American tribes talking about their spirits, I know that they used to smoke a lot, they used to do drugs, they also were cannibals who used to eat people, so I don't know if we should be taking our cues from cannibals. But
I think
can you
that's
explain
kind
to me
of
what
ridiculous.
two-spirit is in the history?
They're people that would now be considered trans people, people that did not feel that they fit
What
the
part, though?
gender.
Native Americans? I'm asking you.
Yes, I'm telling you that not only in one Native American tribe, but in multiple tribes, there were dozens of terms that referred to people that would now be considered trans, and that was hundreds of years ago. So I'm just wondering why you think that people are only trans now because the media is telling them to be.
Well, I told you, because of the proliferation. So you can't just go from having 0% to suddenly 25%
Right, but what
of
I'm
people.
saying is that these people were around for thousands of years.
Well, what you're saying is that some Native American tribes have people that would be considered trans today, something that we can't fact check because they're dead,
It's
right?
historical knowledge.
It's historical
documented.
knowledge that there were trans Native Americans.
Yes.
I really don't think that's historical knowledge, but here's what I'll answer. I don't think that there were trans Native Americans. I will educate myself on the trans Native Americans that were running around America. But here's what I'll say: Native Americans were also cannibals. Did you know that fact? Did you educate yourself on the fact?
All Native Americans were
So
cannibals?
should we just assume that it's natural for us to be eating humans because Native Americans were cannibals?
I really think that don't apply to what I'm asking at all.
It exactly applies to what you're asking. You're saying that you found a piece of historical knowledge, which I would genuinely love to fact check, that there were trans
Do you want some
Native
names?
Americans of their trans names. Yes.
Lozen, Datese, Hastinkla, Oshtish, Wehwa.
These were trans Native Americans.
Yes.
Okay. I think what you're saying is that they probably found some that they thought that they had different spirits, because we know that Native Americans were incredibly spiritual. There's no question about
Are you
that.
not
Which
spiritual? You believe in God?
I do believe in God. Yes.
So
That doesn't make me believe in trans people. That doesn't make me believe that you can switch your parts. I don't believe they were performing surgeries. And you can let me know, but I don't believe that in Native American history they were performing surgeries trying to switch their genitals because they thought that they were born in the wrong
there were people
body.
that felt that they didn't belong in the binary genders that we have.
Okay, so you're talking about somebody in the history of Native American history had a feeling that they were, and now you're saying that they're trans.
I'm just saying, I don't think you're really addressing what I'm asking. I'm saying that
I think I've addressed it like 20 times, and you're just not wanting to hear it because you want to believe that there were trans Native Americans that were chopping off their genitals. They weren't. But I'm, again, happy to educate myself and explore.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a Native American that was chopping off genitals. Happen to have, in my family, a Native American history, never heard of it, but I'm definitely happy to dive into it. I think what you're probably facing is a rewrite of history, where they're taking something that was just an idea, a spiritual idea, where people, and you see this today, who take ayahuasca, they have a trip, they go back, they say that they realize they were a man in a prior life. This is very common when people take drugs, which the Native Americans did, but again, they weren't chopping their off. So no, this is a different thing that we're dealing with here.
La creencia de dos espíritus es una idea que proviene de las culturas indígenas de América del Norte. En estas culturas se creía en la existencia de personas que tenían una identidad de género que no se ajusta a la de hombre o mujer. Estas personas son a menudo conocidas como dos espíritus. El término dos espíritus no tiene una definición única y universal, ya que puede variar entre diferentes culturas indígenas y comunidades. Sin embargo, en general, se refiere a individuos que son considerados poseedores de características tanto masculinas como femeninas, y a menudo desempeñan roles y funciones sociales y espirituales específicos en sus comunidades. En algunas culturas, las personas dos espíritus son valoradas por sus habilidades y perspectivas únicas y se les atribuye un papel especial en la comunidad. Es importante destacar que la creencia de dos espíritus es una parte de la cosmovisión y la espiritualidad de las culturas indígenas. Sin embargo, tal como se demostró en este video, los activistas LGBT usan esta información para poder darle un supuesto sustento científico a la proliferación de la moda transgénero en la sociedad occidental. Actualmente, las redes sociales y los medios de comunicación han brindado una plataforma para que las personas transgénero compartan sus experiencias y obtengan visibilidad, lo que puede haber contribuido a un aumento exponencial en personas que muchas veces por estar a la moda, simplemente optan por aceptar la idea para su vida. De hecho, estudios demuestran que son mujeres quienes suelen terminar optando por transgenerar en edades en las que suelen llevarse por modas a fin de poder encajar en la sociedad. ¿Coincidencia? No lo creo. Respetamos cuando cada individuo tiene su propia experiencia y razones personales para expresar su sexualidad de manera distinta. Sin embargo, el problema radica cuando quieren forzar a que niños empiecen a explorar este campo al grado de que se les en los les. Y aquí finaliza este video. Si te gustó, dale like, comenta y comparte. Suscríbete para ver más videos como este y activa la campanita para que te notifiquen cuando subo nuevos videos. Gracias, hasta luego.